What do you think it is about an acronym that salespeople like love? What is that?
Yeah, this is one of those questions that makes me sort of borderline on offending your entire audience immediately, right? So one of those things. But I'm a salesperson, so I kind of speak for myself. Um, we're typically we like shortcuts. Typically, we like things that kind of easy to remember. I think acronyms, me personally speaking, they help me kind of get my head around it quickly. And then, from there, I can, kind of dig into it a little bit more. I remember when I started at Oracle, they're like TLA, three letter acronym central. And it's like, they've almost got acronyms for the acronyms, right?
So you think it's that then? So it's easy to remember,
Yeah.
and it's something that salespeople can implement easily, because we're always looking as salespeople for things to make our job easier and to get to the sale quicker, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I think in our industry, I talk about this a lot, but I think efficiency of like the time to close is the biggest untapped opportunity for all salespeople. We always talk about top of the funnel. We talk about, to a lesser degree, we talk about conversion rates and average contract value. We've spent very little time as an industry talking about time to close. So efficiency for me is like a huge, huge one.
And if so, picking up on that, then efficiency. Have you got any kind of top tips for reps who might be listening to this who want to be as efficient as possible? Like, what do you do in your kind of day to day?
Yeah, well, this could be a whole episode in itself. The thing I think I'll say is it all comes back to like planning, and the thing to remember is that if you've got a good deal in terms of your opportunities qualified with your customer, then and you're on your path to closing it, then the customer is going to be only more happy that you've kind of organized and planned and structured that route to signature. And I should really say the route to go live, because that's what the customer really cares about. They don't care about the signature as much as we do. So for me, it's like, the tip there is to get to a point in the first place where, you're in parallel, you're in sync with your customer, that we're doing this together. This is where we're going, and then kind of making sure that you kind of reverse engineering backwards from the go live date. Hopefully there's a compelling event you've attached to that, so that every kind of step sort of lines up with that date. And if you take that mindset, you will be amazed at how much more efficient you become, how much more time stay, like, those calls with legal procurement stick, because they know that if they slip, it's going to push the next thing out, and so on and so on. So efficiency is all about planning, I think.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I really picked up on there the fact that you said that the buyer doesn't care about when the contract is signed, right? And we think about that a lot as salespeople. So aligning yourself with their wants and needs is so important. Now that takes me quite nicely onto my next question, because before we hit record, we were talking a little bit about some of the things that we agree on and our similarities, okay, and not just in looks, because obviously we could easily be brothers, right? But what we were saying is, like, we do think similarly in a lot of ways, and I know that I've heard you speak in the past about the most important part of Medic being around the identification of pain points.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard you say that, I was kind of like, hands up. Well, me too. Right. Yeah. Because actually, that's what I built my kind of brand around. And that's what I realized I needed to do to have really good conversations with my buyers. So it'd be great if you could delve into that a little bit more. And is that still the case? Would you say that's the most important part of Medic?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting one, because if you kind of zoom out and you look at like across all of Medic or MedPick, everyone would agree that the most important element overall is the champion. And I think that's like pretty obvious why. But the point I always make is that you can't get a genuine champion without there being a vested interest for them. There needs to be something in it for them. And of course, that's typically going to be tied to pain.